Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this afternoon, so let's begin. First up, live at 3 o'clock p.m., Governor Sununu to hold latest COVID-19 briefing. There are 3,721 known COVID-19 cases in the state. Governor Chris Sununu is giving the latest coronavirus response updates Wednesday afternoon at a briefing. The briefing is scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. It will air live on WMUR TV and stream live above this article at that time. According to the latest data available, there are 3,721 known COVID-19 cases in the state. 10 related deaths were announced Tuesday, resulting in a total of 182 since the pandemic began. Officials said 1,275 patients have recovered, while 383 have required hospitalizations at some point during their illnesses. Ten additional COVID-19 related deaths announced in New Hampshire, 69 new cases. 9 deaths related to long-term care facilities. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
When you cut lawns for a living, reliability matters. The Kubota commercial lineup, with purpose-built mowers like the Z700, SC, and W Series, decrease.
Right now, 10 new deaths connected to COVID-19 in New Hampshire, 9 of them linked to long-term care facilities. Good evening, I'm Monica Hernandez.
And I'm Mike Cherry. The total number of deaths in the state is now 182. There are 69 new confirmed cases to report tonight. The total since the pandemic began is now 3,721. More than 2,200 of those are active cases.
105 people are being treated in the hospital right now, and 10% of those who got COVID-19 had to be hospitalized. More than 1,200 people have recovered in the state.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 in New Hampshire, important information you need to know. Let's take a look. There are 3,652 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,500,753 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 172 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 368 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 90,312 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. This map of New Hampshire shows you where current COVID-19 cases are. Manchester, 572. And this map of New Hampshire shows you where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 869. Now let's take a look at these 3 charts here. Let's take a look at this chart first. New cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations. In the red, deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases. In the purple, current COVID-19 cases. And in the orange, current hospitalizations. Let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases. In the purple, total COVID-19 positive cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. In the red, deaths. In the blue, recovered. Let's take a look at this chart here by age group. This chart here by female and male. And this chart here by risk information. Now let's take a look at this chart here. Race/ethnicity of cases. This chart here, hospitalizations. This chart here, deaths. And this chart here, percent of New Hampshire population. And again, common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Gunfire reported in Manchester. Police investigating. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Strict attention to detail. That's what sets Kubota construction equipment apart. It's how we maximize performance, increase strength, and give you the dependability you demand. We engineer our equipment precisely at every level. It's what makes us a leader. Now get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 60 months. See your local Kubota construction equipment dealer today.
Where best needs second to none. MD.
Right now, Manchester police are investigating a report of shots fired. It happened in the area of Prince and B Streets just after 1 o'clock this morning. Police say they found shell casings and 2 vehicles were damaged by the gunfire. It does not appear that anyone was injured. Police do not think there is a danger to the public.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Wall Street rally against STEM with Dow up 400 points. Stocks rose sharply on Wednesday, lifted in part of solid retail earnings as traders continue to grapple with the market's wild moves from this week. Frustration boils over as Connecticut begins reopening. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Reopening of America, all 50 states easing restrictions by tomorrow, and authorities across this country know there are risks. So do American workers trying to head back to work. So what should you be doing, and how quickly? Here's Eva Pilgrim tonight.
Tonight, frustration boiling over. Connecticut salon owners protesting after learning today the state's plan to reopen tomorrow doesn't include them.
The rug got pulled out from underneath us.
With Connecticut beginning phase 1 plans, every state in the country is now in some level of reopening. Georgia, one of the first in the country to reopen, facing intense criticism, concern cases would rise even from the president.
I think it's too soon.
But now, almost 3 weeks later, no major statewide spikes. In fact, ABC News looked at 21 states that eased restrictions 2 weeks ago or earlier and found no major change in hospitalizations or deaths. But tonight, a new CDC study underscoring the risks as states reopen, tracing a cluster of infections in Arkansas to a church in early March, before the first case was even discovered there. More than a third of the 92 people who attended the church got sick. 3 people died. In New York City, flashing lights in subway cars could help the city move toward reopening. MTA officials testing out a new pilot program that uses ultraviolet light to disinfect subway cars and buses.
The use of ultraviolet light in a laboratory setting has eradicated the COVID-19 virus.
And with Memorial Day approaching, New York State easing its lockdown rules to allow ceremonies of up to 10 people at the discretion of local authorities. David?
All right, Eva, thanks to you again tonight as well. Thanks.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And thank you for joining us for this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Have a great rest of your afternoon. I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.